We're here! Woo! Big good evening to Scott Bailey Hairdressing. Really nice of you to join us tonight. I am so sorry we're a little bit late to come in live to your screens this evening. I did say we might be 7:15, we might be 7:30, but anyway, we're here now live. I mean literally live and direct from Scott Bailey Hairdressing. To our international friends, big good evening and welcome, especially everybody at Muck Central in Australia, especially Mark, Clive, Leah. Really big fan of your work. I've been watching everything you've been doing. It's looking very good. That education system you're rolling out is absolutely brilliant, to say the least. Looking forward to getting involved in that. Also, big good evening to everybody at Muck Central in the UK, especially BA, Alan, Justina, and of course CJ Jones will be watching tonight. Big good evening, CJ Jones. I'm also guessing that Kevin Warren is watching tonight. Big good evening, Kevin and the family. And I'm also guessing that everybody local as well is also watching tonight. So big good evening if you just joined us locally, as well as around the country, wherever you're tuning in from, all over different parts of the country. Good evening. So what's it all about? Well, I always say that any kind of experience of cutting hair is a really special experience. It's literally a question of a journey. You have to think of a painting, which is why we started tonight with the painting that you looked at to begin with, because I thought let's give a bit of a theme, that every haircut is like a canvas that you create and make something special out of, individual. So we start with a cut, we work through the products, which tonight we'll be sharing the cutting system of how it works and how I work and how Scott Bailey Hairdressing works. We'll also then be looking at the Muck hair care products, how they work in harmony with the haircuts. So we'll be going through that tonight. We'll look at bone structure, how we stand with our bodies, how the cuts work. We'll then cut the feed when we go into the blow dry, because we're going to be using quite an interesting and delicate blow dry system, which I'll then come back to later, which will give you a chance to then put the children to bed and also give you a chance to watch Coronation Street / EastEnders, or whichever you're watching tonight. I know Broadchurch is on later, so if you're like me, an avid follower of it, you'll be on there. We'll then come back to do the finish off at the end with the personalisation, which you'll then see, and then we'll recap on everything we've done with our model tonight. So hopefully in the next sort of hour and 10 minutes it'll be quite entertaining for you, as well as informative and interesting. We haven't done one for 3 weeks. I do really miss not doing these things, but as I say, thank you so much for all your messages, thank you so much for your comments, and thank you so much for all of your support from our followers, because without you we couldn't be doing what we're doing. So thank you so much. Let's get on and meet the model tonight. So let me give you a nice big warm welcome tonight to our model, Miss Donna Morris. Woo!
Hi
Just have a
guys.
look at the camera.
Hi guys.
Smile. There you go. So good evening. So what's it all about? So we're going to be working with Donna's hair tonight. You can see we've got very long hair to work with. We're going to be making her hair look tonight like Cheryl Cole's at the end. So the objective we're looking for is hair that's very wavy and very natural looking. I'm going to be using a special technique to do that. So let's just walk through what we're going to be doing tonight. So with Donna's hair, we're going to be going with the length still long. We'll take some off the length here. Then we're going to be working with C-shaped curvature, which is really important, because when I say C-shaped curvature, we're going from a shorter length here to a longer length, but we're working in harmony with the C shape. Now that can be done in one of two ways. You can literally pick it up and cut it in a C-shaped curvature this way, or you can curve it out with a razor blade that way, as long as you get the C shape in there. We're then looking to work with a layer through the back and through the sides, which will then give Donna the option with her very fine hair to be able to flick out, go under, thicken it up, or make it look even curlier. Now, products, we're going to be working tonight with the Muck Blowout Mousse, which will be our first product, which I always say, it starts with the journey, which contains the conditioner. We'll be going through that first. This is slightly different, so we're doing like a review of what we're using. Then we're going to be going through the Fat Muck Volumizer Spray, which again will thicken the hair up and work in harmony with what we're doing. We'll then go into the blow dry, which we've done that. We'll be using Hot Muck, which is the Shine Serum. And then when we come to use the rollers, we'll be working with the hair lacquer, which will be the next problem. So what we're doing is sort of layering the hair, and then to finish off we'll either be using Slick Muck Pomade for a slight change, or we'll be using the beard oil, which is the same as the spa oil. I'll make a decision at the end, because as you know, I am really random, and that's what it's all about, taking a gamble and taking a chance and doing things that are slightly different. But obviously, you know in your head as a hairdresser the result that you want to get at the end, as I do tonight with Donna's hair. It's a question of I can switch what I'm going to use for my products as well as I can switch with my layer to make the result work. So let's talk about how we're going to be working with the bones in the school tonight. We'll be working with, sorry, big small there. So we'll be working with the recession, the parietal ridge, which is the bone that's in between the top to the side there, which literally denotes the layer where it goes from a square layer to a rounded layer. We'll then be working on the apex, which is literally on the top of the head. We'll then be going to the upper occipital bone. Then we'll work to the occipital bone, which is the protruding bone in the back of the skull, which if you were doing a geometrical bob, you would go no shorter than that point. We'll then be working with the lower occipital bone, which is generally a starting point of a haircut. If you were starting on a design line, that's generally where you would start. We'll then be working with the mastoid process, which is the bone behind the back of the ear, which again, if you want to touch the back of your ear now and feel that bone, it's a protruding bone, you'll know where that is. We'll then be working with the nape, of course, and we'll also be working with the temporal also tonight. Some big titles there. So the key part here is body positioning. You need to be thinking about how you're standing, because you've got to think about your well-being later in life. You've got to think about whether or not you're going to have a bad back or whatever you're going to have, but you've got to try and get away from that idea. So we think about how we stand, we think about how the hands working. It's a mechanical thing, so you want to be able to make sure there's a dance going on there for you. It basically makes it so that your hand is in the right position, so that in later in life again you won't get any arthritis. You've got to think about all this tonight. These are all things we're thinking about positioning, and then we'll think about the scissors, how we hold the scissors and how we work the scissors. So let's make a start on the haircut tonight. Thank you, I'll take the comb for me, thanks. So let's start with the first product tonight. We'll start with the Fat Mutt Blowout Mousse, which I said is the start of the journey. We need about the size of a golf ball. The idea with it is it helps us to comb the hair through, and it also puts conditioner into the hair. And again, when I shake the haircut off later, it will give me a chance to see the natural movement in the hair, which is really, really important. As a hairdresser, you want to be able to see what the haircut is doing, how it's going, what's going on with it. We've got anybody on there, Dad? Let's have some shout outs.
Jamie Bray.
Jamie Bray is on there. Good to see you, Jamie Bray. Hope you're really well, my friend. We need to see you back on Primal. Who else is there?
Nicola Calvary.
Nice to see Nicola with us tonight. Hope you're well. Anybody else?
Yeah, what we do is
Excellent, yeah, just put your finger on there and move it up. If we're not said big good evening to anybody, please do not be offended. Dad's doing a great job tonight. In fact, why don't you put yourself in the mirror, Dad, so they can see quickly, and give everybody a little wave there tonight. That's it, so they can see he's not in intensive care this week. He's very much performing back on the camera tonight. It's your first one since you've been in hospital, isn't it? Okay.
No, but I've done lots.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. I'll stand corrected.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lynn Marie Atkinson.
Lynn Marie Atkinson. Oh yes, of course. Big good evening to Lynn Marie Atkinson and Big Mate and Grace as well. I hope you're all alright and you're all
Brown.
enjoying yourself. Good to see you with us tonight.
Sarah Louise Gunn.
Sarah Louise Gunn. Nice to see my cousin with us tonight. How are you? I hope you're well. Good to see you on there. You see Uncle Ian is alright. He's out of hospital. He's filming tonight.
Paul King.
Paul King. Kingy from Essex. Great to see you with us. I'm sorry I cannot be in Portugal in May. I would have loved to have done a live feed. No, we've got a problem. He's doing something with it. That's fine. That's okay. Just leave it as it is. It's fine. Just leave it. It's fine. It's okay. We'll just go straight into whoever comes on next. I'll talk to the people later.
Okay.
All right. So we're now just taking the sections. Sorry about that, everybody. Just a bit of a family domestic going on there. So as we're going down the back, oh, he's live. So as we're now going down the back, we're now subdividing the hair and coming into the first section, which is going to be the lower occipital bone. Again, this is really important because I say to people, the important part about this is when you take your sections, you need to be thinking about how the line looks. So for instance, if the line is literally at an angle like that, it's going to probably round upon the edge. You need to put a slight angle in. Now most people sometimes do an angle like this at college, which is fine if it works for you. You want to just relax it off a bit and do it at that angle. Now when you think about it, the analogy is, let's just lower it down to the bottom so we can see. Lower with the camera. That's it, thanks. So the idea is we're looking for a straight line. Now when we look at a straight line, it actually is cut like that. slightly bent. So the way that you'll do that is, if you cut it slightly bent, the reason being that as it literally dries, it dries straight. So if you were to cut it straight and then blow dry, it would slightly be rounded on the edges. So what you need to do is cut it slightly bent on the edges, which gives it that slight curve. So by taking the section slightly at an angle there, that actually tells you to cut it at that angle. So if you haven't tried that, try it and you'll find it will really work for you. It's a nice little toning guard trick that I was taught many years ago when I used to work there. So again, it's something that stays with me all of my life. And again, you need to be thinking about these things when you're working. You need to be working smart and efficiently so that these things work for you. Okay, so let's just go into the first part of the big cut. Thank you for the scissors. And again, as I said earlier on, you need to be thinking about how you sit, because again, it's really important. Now, a comb, we use the tighter part of the comb for this part, because again, you can use a comb as a ruler. So let's just comb it down, coming straight in, take a nice generous amount off the back there. We'll take off nearly an inch, three quarters of an inch. Just get straight in there. Take it off. Let me see if I can change the angle. We're only in this angle because we don't want to lose the feed. If we do lose the feed, don't go away and we'll come back later to you. So it just works that little bit better. We are hoping to get some better broadband for the future. We're hoping to go on to optical or whatever it is, something that's a little bit better, so we can produce these videos a bit stronger, although tonight looks very good, so we'll stay with that. Now we're going to move into the next part, which we're just going to jump, leapfrog straight up to the apex. As you can see, everything's got to be combed tight, and you've got to make sure that it's nice and damp when you're cutting as well. So just at an angle, it just keeps the line looking cleaner as you're doing. As you can see now, that'll get it on the line. See how the line's just coming out nice. Hopefully you can see that in the light. So just come around here, do the next side, keeping it all nice and clean. Again, this is really just a bit of discipline here. That's it. Just take it easy with the camera because I don't want to lose the feed. That's it. Probably if you go on top of the stairs, you might just still be able to receive it. Hey up, hey up. It's coming round, it's coming round. That's it. Watch my foot. That's it. Right, here we go. That's good, that's good. There we go. Right, now we should be able to see. So again, it's just a bit of scissor control as we're doing this. We're looking at where we're going. That angle, as I said, just slightly going down, because again, it just takes that corner just a slight bit longer, only subtly, and then it creates that shape, so you can then get the nice blow dry. Mark Pearpool, nice to see you with us tonight. Hope you're okay. Ooh, ooh. Hope you're okay, brother.
Nathan Atkinson.
Nathan Atkinson, hope you're okay, my friend.
Sharon McCaffrey.
Good evening, Sharon. I hope you're really well. It's nice to see you. I hope you're not struggling to find a place on the sofa tonight with the cats. I hope Nick's alright as well. I'm sure Nick's been on already and said hello, bro. If he's in this country tonight, I'm sure Dad will find out soon. He'll probably be in Poland or with Wolfgang, no doubt. But nice to see you with us again.
Store's almost full.
Sorry? Stories, that's fine. There's nothing to worry about. I need to take some pictures off, that's fine. I'll help you with that. My phone, it's the iPhone typically, so they just run out of memory. That's it. If that happens, just press done. That's fine, that's okay. Right, so now just coming through to this side, and all we're doing now is just literally just bringing it in so everything joins up nice before we go for the C-shaped curvature. Because again, that's a really important part of this haircut. So as we're just coming through now, literally just taking the edge, and you can see I'm really just taking that off. The most amount of hair that's come off here is through the middle panel. Okay, so we've now got our first pass done. Now I'm going to go through with the razor. So that's it. We'll just now subdivide everything to make sure we're not caught your earring. That's it. Excellent. So you have to be aware of these things. Remember in the 80s when ladies used to wear grenade pins, it was always a bit challenging. So now with this part, you just discipline yourself to keep the hair back slightly, because you want it just literally on the back of the ear. Again, you go no farther back than the back of the ear for the simple fact that if you did, you create a like a V shape in the back, and we don't really want that. So again, everything in front of the ear just gives the shape. What you'll get is a disconnection, which will be somewhere around about here, which you'll join in later. That's a really good quality picture tonight, excellent. BT doing really good tonight, excellent.
Don't speak too soon.
No, that's right. Thanks for that, Dad. Right, so now what you're going to be looking at is elevation, we're not looking at any elevation on this haircut, we're after 0 elevation, so we're going to go down flat. The idea is we're going to really go for this shape as it curves, so we're going to be looking at moving the fingers and the blade in one go. Normally you chip it with the blade, we're going to be going for it in one go, so the idea is it gives it that curve. Quite a difficult cut, but again, it really does look nice when it's done. So this is called C-shape curvature. So let's just get the line all lined up, and then we just go in, and then literally on it goes, and then you literally just pull it and cut. And as you do that, you can start to see it starting to curve now, as quick as that. But you just need to be making sure that A, the hair's wet, secondly, the tension's tight and there's no elevation, and thirdly, the blade is really, really sharp to do it, and then that starts to create that shape as it's coming through. And it is literally, you shouldn't even be hurting you while this is happening, you should really just not feel it at all. Can you feel that?
I'm nice and chilled out.
There you go, nice and chilled out. When you watch this on playback tonight, you'll see just exactly what I did. So again, we've now got that shape really starting to come through, you can really see it curving. Now this is where the disconnection comes, because you've got the bit in the back. So what we're doing now is just pull this through, just the tiniest piece, and you can really see the difference between that and the very end part. So you just go in there, take that literally just through to that end part, and that then completes the C-shaped curvature, because as it comes through you get that real nice C. As it was longer you'd get even more of a C, but that's a nice classic C shape. Let's just bring it around this way. Alright, let's come around this one, there we go, that's it. Keep your head up nice. So again, head positioning is really important. Now you're going to go in the reverse way. So again, tension low, tension tight, coming in and literally just chipping as you pull in with your fingers. So again, it's quite complicated cutting with a razor. It's the discipline that's really important, as with anything. You just have to think about how you're going to discipline yourself when you do it, and then it just starts to cut nicely as you do it. So just come through, making sure you've got everything in there. Again, I really enjoy cutting with a razor. It's a nice way to really express just being confident with it, and just keeping the tension tight, spinning it round. You can see the C shape coming now as it's bending, just in there. Get that tiny piece. Again, you'll see all this later on the photos when I photographed Donna's hair later. When we finish the feed later on, we'll be doing all of that so everybody can see the close-up of the cuts, which is what I did do the week with both Summer's hair and Cameron's hair. So it's nice just to do. I'll put some detailed shots in as well later so everybody can see them. Okay, so there's the second side, which we've now got with more C-shape on there. Let's just make sure we've not missed anything in the bottom corner there. Okay, that now gives us a nice shape. Let's go back around this way. It's like a carousel, isn't it? Oh, welcome to the fun fair. Well, working hairdressing is like being at the fair. It's great. It's like a circus, a travelling circus. This is when you go to your next door neighbour's house and do that in the kitchen like the last time. Okay, so subdivision again to the back of the mastoid. So again, you go from the apex to the mastoid process. So you can see we've got a nice clean line. Keep all your sections clean when you do this, it's really important. And then it's just a question of now just coming into it and thinking about the layering. So the way I'm going to do the layout is it's going to be a travelling guide that's coming round from the back to the side, and then the layer will literally go at the back like that. It will curve on the apex, then it will come through to the top, and then it will switch around again onto the parietal ridge, and then it will bend back round again. So the idea is, as you look at the shape, if you can imagine it, it's going to be slightly cut and rounded, which then, as it denotes at the bottom, gives us a really nice shape as it curves in to finish off, which will really exaggerate a lot of the shape onto the face. So now we go into the apex. So the apex, the occipital bone, I should say. So working our way up to the apex. I was ahead of myself there, thinking about where it ends. So you've got to think about your starting point, where you start from and where you go to. So let's just put those clips in there just to hold that. So the occipital bone is the protruding bone in the skull. Go a little bit higher now on this because again, hair's quite fine, and also we want to be sort of seeing some of the hair come off as we cut it. So the thumb will lead on this part, the thumb will lead that way because we're going around using the clock from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock using the corner of the chair or the mastoid process. Then we'll go from 6 round to 3, again repeating that with the mastoid process to the corner of the chair, so you can understand now why the bones are working and how they're working. We're not just doing it for the hell of it. Let's just bring you around this way, so that way I can film it. There we go. Right, so let's just pull it up, so now we can see we've got the section. We'll start with the thumb lead in. Again, keep all the sections nice and clean because it's quite long. We've got, there's the length just there. We're just going to take this out now. Second knuckle, don't do what I did the other week, folks, and that's cut yourself. So really, really important to keep the discipline really strong. So again, moving round now, moving round to 7 o'clock, looking for the guide, just on the second knuckle. Then moving round again, keeping it clean, got to keep the sections really tidy. Moving round and just taking a bit out there. Now we're just going to go around to the last part, which is at 9 o'clock or onto the corner of the chair, because we've moved around. I'm just moving Don around for your benefit so you can see what's going on. And then again, of course, you can see just how clean this is. You see how clean the sections are as I take it? It's got to be really clean. So what we've done there is we've moved round the head and ended up here on the corner of the chair. Right, now let's go back round the other way. That's your foot. Oh, Tom. It is. That's why I just staggered around. That's it. Hopefully your toes are right. So now you can see the guide. Again, it repeats the opposite way. The thumb leads on this part. We're now coming back round again, moving round to 4 o'clock, 5 and 4, and then we come back round here now on the last section to 3 o'clock, which you can now see, hopefully with Dad moving, you can see we're now on the corner of the mastoid process to the corner of the chair. Hopefully you can see that. Sections are looking clean. Everything's got to be really clean and tidy. Okay, so now to cross-check that, because you're probably thinking, well, how do I cross-check that? Good question. I'll do it for you. So all you do then is literally hold it up to the position you were cutting out, comb it underneath because it doesn't create drag, and then literally just pull it out to the corner that you would have cut it at to make sure everything's level. Good job it is level, then otherwise you'd have seen. Okay, and then that side, and then there it is. That's literally how you check it. But you see how my sections are really clean while I'm doing this? Everything's really disciplined, and that's really what it's all about. You have to be disciplined when you're doing your work, otherwise you will not deliver a nice, clean and consistent haircut. So now I'm going to go back round to the other side, which again I need to just switch to you where you are. So I'm just going to come into your position, otherwise you won't see it because you'll see my arm. That's it. I think this is what it's like when you're on a stage performing. You have to think about standing and everything else. We're hoping to do a show soon for the salon live, so for people that live local, you'll get a chance to see the team at Scott Bailey performing live on stage, raising money for charity. As you know, I'm big on charity. As you'll know, I'm running the marathon, so we'll be deciding very soon to do a show, so I'm really looking forward to that. We haven't done one for nearly 2 years, so that should be really good with VT as well, which means we'll be showing everything on a big screen. You get a chance to see it all close up like you are now. So I'll probably say more about that in the next feed. So I've got to talk to the management about it and the staff as well, just to make sure it's fair for those.
Morris.
Rick Morris! How we doing, Rick? Great to see you with us tonight. Hoo-ha!
What?
Do it in the mirror, Dad, for him. I'm sure he'll love it. Do it in the mirror for him.
I know, Rick.
Well, that's so he loved that tonight. Hoo-ha, my man. So now we're just coming through the other side. Again, we're moving round at the time, as I say, we're moving to the clock. As we come round again, it's keeping those sections really clean. I hope Lynn's alright, and Ryan. I'm sure probably Lynn's watching tonight. So again, the hand becomes like a chopping board on this part now, because you're starting to see a lot more shape as it's working. Okay, so let's just come back around the other side. We switch again now, and we come back into 5 o'clock. Again, the discipline with this is keeping it at the same height as the head, and also keeping the sections clean with your fingers. So you're only going to second knuckle. But it's quite interesting for you tonight, I think, to yourself how much is involved in a haircut. People don't realise just how much is involved in it. There's angles, there's mathematics. We're using, we're using a lot of geometry on this. It's really important. A lot of people don't realise what hairdressers do when they're cutting hair or colouring hair, because of course we use it in colouring as well. Something I've not done for a long time. A lot of people ask, can Scott colour my hair? No, I'd like to, but the team at the salon are very, very good, and they all do colours for me. So, Alan Farmer, nice to see you with us tonight, bro. You okay? Like you used to say to my dad, leave the sideburns alone. Hope Claire's alright. He'll be laughing to himself now while I say that. It's brilliant. All the way there, the other side of town. Right, so now we start to see the shape really starting to move. So you've got a little bit more movement in it. The nice thing is with the mousse, the fat muck black mousse, you can really start to see everything that's happening. Right, let's just keep you where you are for a moment. This side now we'll just pull out. We only just got a tiny piece just to check into the cut, so we're now going to just go into the corners, the mastoid process.
Kirsty Reid.
Nice to see you, Kirsty Reid. I hope you're well with us tonight. Good to see you there. Again, the hand becomes like a chopping board, so it's really important. Josh Brown. Come on, man. Yeah. Good to see you, Josh. I need to know when you can model for me, because I'm looking for you for next week. So if you have a little word with your wife and see when you can come out, and I'll put you in for next week. Yeah. All right. And you can do that for me. All right. So now we've got the section on the corner, so we've now taken all of that out in the mastoid process, and that now has completed that side for the back section. So now we'll repeat again, so you can see from your angle where you are, because you'll be thinking, that's great, but I couldn't really see from that angle. So now we work every section towards the front, and what we do is we stand in the position of the mastoid process, which is at the back of the ear, and then literally just bring everything into the corner. And again, you can do this a multitude of ways. You can flick the scissors in, you can razor cut it, you can do it with the layering as I'm doing now. I'm trying to do it in a blunt cut for the simple fact, A, it's going to thicken Donna's hair up, and B, also it's a good foundation for you to watch, because if you can do this in a format of cutting it with a pair of scissors, once you know what you're doing with it, you can then experiment different ways yourself, because again, hair is all about experimentation. With a mannequin doll, and I see CJ Jones and Justina when they're at college, as with a lot of students that are probably watching tonight, it's really important to sort of work your magic on a mannequin doll first, to practice and own your techniques, and then let yourself loose on a real person, which is how I've always done it. Everything's practiced before I do it, and it's got to be done confidently, so you can then execute and get it perfect. You can see now as I'm doing this, those layers are absolutely spot on, which is the way we want it on a live feed. We don't want to be looking as if one side's longer than the other. That's one thing we don't really want to be doing. Again, you've got to be really confident with what you're doing, because if you have got one side longer than the other, that could be the position you're standing at. You need to be thinking about that. Right, we're now working from the apex through to the occipital, so we now go the opposite way around. So we're going to start from here to here. So now just need to join the two together to give us a really nice 45-degree rounded layout. So just lift the hair up slightly. Now again, the important part with this is, you'll see if you look carefully, there's no drag on this bottom part, because obviously if you put a lot of drag in it, it starts to look too long. So we're looking now to keep it as if it's pretty much on the section. That's what we're taking off on there. It's just working to the second knuckle. Now we're going to work round two sections like we're working on a cake, on slices. So let's just lift that up, and then you can see where we're going. It's exactly the same, just keeping it clean. This is in a quadrant, which is a corner of the head. Just make sure my little friend's in the position with the camera. That's it. And now we'll repeat the process and come the opposite way. You'll see that I'm standing slightly different as well. I'm standing and facing towards Donna while I'm doing this. Some people stand and do this, stand like that and go with the back to the mirror, which is okay. Don't get me wrong, it's fine. But you've got your back to the mirror and back to the guest. So if you've never done it before, do the same thing but go this way. The only thing you've got to watch out for when you do both things is the arm, because you need to push the arm up as you're doing it. Because again, it's the mechanics. It's almost like a workout. And then just keep your arm in a good strong position, because again, that's what leads to making a haircut lopsided one side than the other, so you've got an imbalanced haircut. So we're now completed that part of the cut, and again, to cross check, you will literally just take a section, remembering the angle that you cut at. So remember, we've gone for a rounded section, so we'll now pull everything out at a rounded section. You can see everything's level. We then come through to the other side to make sure that that is a repeat of the other side, and that's level as well. Okay, so now if we just put the camera on the back, as we're just shaking everything out, you can really start to see the movement in Donna's hair. All of a sudden it's starting to look alive. Well, look at that, look in the light, it looks beautiful. So you can really see those layers coming alive now, it's thickening it up. So now we're going to work on the top. So we're going to go with the parietal ridge, because we're using all the bones, what I talked about earlier on. We're now going to go for a square layer to the parietal ridge. When we hit the parietal ridge, we'll then go for a rounded layer, which will then give us height and shape. Just think you'll know all this when you get home tonight.
Okay.
Pretty technical stuff, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's,
All the bones that are involved.
it's like a doctor. So, look at the arm. My arm is square, arm. Again, it's good discipline. A lot of people then tend to cut layers like this. Don't do that. Keep it like this, just keep it level. That way, if you do that, keep the tension on tight, it produces a really nice haircut. Now, what we've got here is the previous cut. We've also got the length just here, which we don't want to touch. So if we go any shorter than that, that's the length gone. So we'll just remove that weight. It's almost like a triangle of weight on there. So just very quickly, we'll just talk about the salon just very quickly while we're doing this, repeating the process. Prosecco Saturdays. On a Saturday, you will receive a free glass of Prosecco, which is no charge, of course, with any colour service, with a full price cut and blow dry on a Saturday. We've also got other offers running at the moment, which feel free to go on to scottbailey.com and feel free to have a look on there. Both our manager George and our assistant manager Charlotte are both taking care of that, as with all of the team here at the salon. We've got a lot going on at the moment, but we are exceptionally busy, so if you're thinking of coming to us, you need to be booking in soon. We've got Easter coming up, Mothering Sunday, there's a lot of events, a lot of bookings, so just to put that out there for you. You can visit the Facebook page. I've had a lot of reviews recently, so thank you very much to the people that have been writing those reviews. Lots of 5 stars, that's what we like to see. It's nice to know that we're doing things right, because we can only gauge everything on what we're doing for you. So